Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Welcome, one and all, folks. This is CatsPajamas here with Orb. We are broadcasting the finals of the TeamSpeak TL Open number 21. Down here at the bottom left-hand corner, spawning as our green Zerg player, we have Evil Genius's EG.IdrA. His opponent here in the top right-hand corner, and our lone Korean left of the tournament, that is TSLHeart, spawning as our red Terran. So here we are, ZVT action starting on Xel'Naga Caverns.
And a look at that Heart already doing some really nice mineral stacking with those SCVs, trying to keep them on the close positions, the close mineral patches. We'll give him just an ever so slight mineral advantage over EG.IdrA, not doing that as much. I gotta say, I'm always excited to see EG.IdrA play. Call me an EG.IdrA fanboy, whatever you want. Actually, it would be pretty ironic with some of the arguing we've done on the forums. But I really like watching his play. I think he's just a smart player. He has really good macros. Sometimes he makes these bad decisions, and I feel like a lot of it just comes from his emotional state. Sometimes he can get, a little bit tilted. I certainly am familiar with that. But I think overall he's a very smart player, and if anyone's going to beat Heart, to actually have another American winning this TL Open for the first time in who knows how long, I think it's EG.IdrA.
Yeah, I mean, EG.IdrA hasn't taken a huge tournament here recently, so a lot of people are forgetting how good of a player he really is. Posted great results in the GSL all the time and going back to Korea to train very soon once again. And here we have TSLHeart opening Refinery first, putting that up before his barracks. EG.IdrA, on the other hand, looks like he wants to expand early, dropping that expansion down on 14.
Wow. And yeah, that gas first from Heart, I mean, he's probably going to be going for that Hellion expand. Would not be a bad choice on a map like this. Xel'Naga Caverns, the natural is very wide open. You have 4 entrances, of course, one blocked by destructible rocks and one blocked by, well, not blocked, but it has some line of sight blockers on it. But you really have a wide open natural, so you can come in and be aggressive with Hellions and get a lot of good aggression off, a lot of good harassment off. It can be very difficult for a Zerg player to lay off enough spines to actually protect against this. So, you know what? I actually wouldn't be surprised to see EG.IdrA perhaps go for some type of early roach play if he scouts this coming. That being said, he did go pool first. After hatch, of course. No gas. So, might not actually be going for that. He's actually using his drone to harass, try to delay that factory. But of course, Heart immediately pulled an SCV off to be able to deal with that drone. And we don't actually see that reactor yet, but of course, once Heart gets up to 50 gas, we'll probably see that get thrown down, and then the command center shortly afterwards.
Yeah, this build is actually incredibly well optimized here out of Heart. That factory came down fastest possible factory right after after that quick refinery, and he puts out one Marine just enough time to be able to get up that reactor and give himself a little bit of defense as well. So this is extremely well optimized and very effective against what we're going to see here out of EG.IdrA. EG.IdrA has not reacted with any sort of roach warren quite yet, though. In fact, he's only going to be putting up some gas right now. He is actually saving up a considerable number of resources at the moment. Don't know if that's going to go right into another queen or what. Has not quite shown his hand. There we go. Finally, roach warren coming out.
Yeah, that's going to help him a lot. I really am. I support this decision. It's a really smart move because on this map, if you were going to actually defend against Hellions with spines, you would need spines all over the place to defend this natural, not to mention have to worry about run-bys. Now, roaches are going to be a lot more versatile. You can not only use them to just defend at the natural, you can also use them to block your ramp. They're going to be more mobile, so unlike spines, obviously, you will actually be able to put pressure on your opponent if you see a weakness in timing available to you. So I do like this play by EG.IdrA. That being said, the first 2 Hellions are already out, so it's possible Heart will be able to come in here before roaches are out and maybe do some damage to these drones. Look at that, EG.IdrA immediately pulling all of his drones from the natural. Doesn't want to take any damage from those Hellions. Doesn't want to risk losing a single drone, so he's instead just going to go ahead and leave his queen blocking the ramp. He's got to be careful with that placement. There he goes. Now getting it in the center of the ramp so he can block those Hellions. And unfortunately, Heart going to see that there's no drones at the natural, and he's not going to be able to get that much good scouting information either. One of the purposes of this play is not just to do the harassment, but also get a good amount of scouting information, how many drones your opponent has, etc. So when he doesn't get a good idea of that drone count, it's going to be tough for Heart to make a good decision out of this.
And Heart immediately swapped his structures once again. He decided to swap the factory back onto the tech lab and is putting up 2 more barracks. Unfortunately, was quite supply blocked. He actually tried to put up, I believe, a siege tank there for a little while, but was unable to do so because of his supply blockage. So, that talking about a very refined build before, I think, seeing no drones down there at the natural, as you were talking about, immediately getting repelled by the queen, not getting scattering information, kind of threw a little bit of a wrench into TSLHeart's plans. He does have his second command center just about finished, but EG.IdrA reinforcing very well. Already has enough units to completely nullify those early Hellions.
Here they are coming around the back door, though. The Roaches are a little bit out of position. They might actually be able to get a couple drone kills. One drone goes down. Oh, we don't see a second drone going down. Very nice, quick defense by EG.IdrA with those reflexes, blocking off those Hellions with the Roaches and getting those drones out of the way. A very clean defense. Only one drone went down, so it's definitely looking still good for EG.IdrA right now. 34 drones, 227 SCVs. He's looking like he's in a pretty solid situation thus far.
And here we are, TSLHeart finishing up his orbital command inside of his base, going to wait until he has enough units to go ahead and defend down at the bottom of the ramp, probably behind a couple of bunkers as well, or a bunker, I should say. A little bit of SimCity played, but he already has add-ons going onto his barracks, so he is actually fairly low on attack units at the moment, considering where he's at. So I'm curious how he follows this up, if this is just going to be pure Marine tank, and he's going to make a push to start denying creep tumors, and I'm projecting ahead like 8 or 9 minutes into this game, because it looks like we're set up for a little bit of macro play. EG.IdrA does have the Baneling Nest just about to finish, though.
Yeah, it does look like Heart will be going for some early aggression. As you said, with those early barracks, the early add-ons, Stim is about a quarter of the way done, so once that gets done, he probably will be trying to gear up for some type of push around that time. We'll probably try to get Siege Tech done around the same time as well. EG.IdrA is now poking around with these Lings, trying to get some map control, maybe get some scouting information at the Natural. He will be able to see that the Natural's up and running, see if there's tanks and Marines there, and he's actually going to be able to pick off a couple SCVs here. He does get only one, but it was a nice move.
Heart's units caught a little bit out of position down on the south side of the orbital command. Wasn't paying attention to those units coming through, so he does manage to sneak an SCV kill in there. Unfortunately, EG.IdrA sees the Hellions that are making his way around the back of Tasteless' secret hallway, so he pulled those Zerglings away, but they are going to go down. Poor Zerglings, but they did at least do their duty.
Look at this from EG.IdrA, though. He went for a quick lair. Then he actually didn't rush up to Spire or anything in that store. Instead, is just using it for Baneling speed and Roach speed. Now, he's made a lot of Roaches. He's starting to take out the Destructible Rocks. He's also morphing in a ton of Banelings right now. So it looks like he's gearing up for a very well-timed defense for the attack that Heart has coming right now. He's got 11 Banelings in production, more Lings, and I feel like he's going to be more than defended. This type of attack from Heart is really meant to punish Zergs that rush up to a Spire, for example. So I feel like EG.IdrA is going to be more than defended. That being said, they look like they're actually going around each other. The Terran Force from Heart coming into the backdoor area, whereas EG.IdrA is just going to go for an attack on the front. Heart does have a nice little wall off here, but of course there are Banelings, so that won't be that effective. We might even have a bit of a base trade scenario here between these two players.
Wow. Yeah, and it looks like EG.IdRA's going to roll in with those Banelings right away. The Siege Tank already doing some damage to the Roaches, but that's going to allow the Banelings to come in and do maximum damage. Down at the 6 o'clock position, TSLHeart is starting to siege push forward, but all the Banelings are rolling in, taking out supply depots, bunkers, and Marines. Oh my. Supply depot here at the main is going to go down as well. There's one Baneling remaining going to do max. Oh, nope, actually got killed pretty early there. And EG.IdRA's already doing quite a bit of damage, but on the down at the 6 o'clock position, TSLHeart is going to deny this hatchery, and we do have a full-fledged base trade happening.
Yeah, this is nuts. Heart immediately lifting off everything, knowing that EG.IdRA only has Zerglings and Roaches, can't attack air. So just lifting off and leaving. I'm curious as to where exactly he's going to. But right now he's just dealing so much damage at the main of EG.IdRA. What can EG.IdRA do? Well, he set up 5 spines on the upper ground. Now there are siege tanks, but those spines are going to actually just delay. And look at that. Oh my god, the GG immediately goes down for Heart.
Wow.
Unbelievable. You know, I guess he saw those spines, and what that really does is, even if Heart would be able to kill off those spines eventually with the tanks, the spines do a great job of delaying Heart. That's why they're so important. They delay Heart from actually moving up the ramp, killing off any of the buildings from EG.IdRA, so you can just sit here and wait. It would take a minute, I feel, at least, for those tanks to kill off the spines. They'd also need upper ground vision from these Marines, which are going to die every time they move up to the top of the part of the ramp. So really nice defense by EG.IdRA there, and that would actually buy him the time, so that even if Heart were to try to slowly move up the ramp, EG.IdRA would have been able to get his reinforcements back from the attack at the main of Heart in time to actually deal with those few units. So really nice clutch defense there by EG.IdRA with those spines on the upper ground, able to defend just in time for that base trade.
And if we took a look at the supply that was at the end as well, I mean, TSLHeart was only sitting on 20 supply. Everything he had left was in that attack that was down at the 6 o'clock, and he knew with the spines at the top that EG.IdRA was going to be able to hold off long enough. And even if EG.IdRA wasn't able to kill that amount of units outright, he had enough that he could have just played the delay game, and the mules alone wouldn't have been able to get TSLHeart back into the game, especially with all the supply depots going down. So there we are. There we have it. Game number 1 of the finals has been played. We're going to move into game number 2. It is going to be on Shattered Temple, so don't go anywhere, guys. That's coming up right after this commercial break.